Galen, it really seems like a strange question to ask, but this is something that gnaws at me. When I look at all the stuff that impinges on my consciousness, I see almost infinite number of things in the universe and around me, around here. We have so many different things. But if we try to reduce these things to the fundamental things that really exist. I mean, physics tries to reduce things to different numbers of particles and stuff. How can we, in the most general way, reduce everything in the world to the most fundamental, irreducible things? What kinds of things really exist? How do we think about that?
I'm not sure why we should want to do that. You say to me, what things are real? And I'd say, I think I'm pretty liberal on this one. Try me. I mean, would you mention something somebody might say that isn't real?
Well, you have a table that's real, but it can be broken down into its component parts. So we have physical forces, or we have fields, and then in our minds we have consciousness. Some people have cosmic consciousness. Some people believe in spiritual realms and gods. And so, I mean, there are broad categories. What are the categories that we can begin to classify?
Okay. Well, I think that everything that exists is material or physical, but I'm not ruling out as much as some people might be ruling out when they say that. So
why is that the case? Why do you believe that only the physical is real?
It's first thing to say perhaps is that I probably mean more by the word physical than most people mean. So, for example, I'm a complete realist about all conscious states and emotions. I think they're completely real. So it's not a reductive claim. Part of it is just that there is nothing I can think of that I believe to exist that couldn't be physical.
Okay.
But I'm very liberal in what I believe to exist, or rather, of course tables exist. The fact that they're made out of smaller bits doesn't in any way sort of undermine their claim to reality.
Okay, but it is not a fundamental part of reality. If we cleared away all the things that are constructive things, what would you be left with? What are the things of which all reality is constructive?
Well, one way to look at this is to say that just is a question for physics. Physics is the base science, and there's this zoo of fundamental particles, which probably there aren't as many as there seem to be, and then there are maybe 10 basic properties like shape, size, position, mass, and charge. Or energy. And on one view, they are all just manifestations of energy. So if you want to get it down, let's just say all that exists is energy. But energy has many manifestations, including, in my view, conscious states, experiences of red.
So that's a radically different kind of physicalism, materialism, is to include consciousness on some, what we say, primitive, meaning fundamental level.
Yeah, I think that quite a lot of people who say they're physicalists would think that somehow downgrades conscious states. They're pretty vague very often about what they think they are, but I'm not doing. They are as real as electrons, as it were, and they're not only that, they're the things we are most certain of, their existence we are.
So that becomes a very fundamental part of your kind of reality, is the kind of conscious experience that humans have or animals have, or how far down do you go?
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to sort of take up the position of a skeptic and say, what do you absolutely know exists? Well, my answer will be conscious feelings and experiences. Those are the only things I absolutely know exist. I mean, Berkeley, the 18th century English philosopher, is famous for thinking that we are spirits and God just induces an experience of a world in us. So there aren't really any tables and chairs. So I think you can't actually, strictly speaking, rule out that view, but you still know that there are feelings and experiences.
So then you would privilege consciousness over all other constituents of reality.
Well, it's just, that's an epistemological claim. That is, it's a claim about what we can know for certain. So I privilege it in that way.
Yes.
Of course, I pretty certain that there are other things, but I have this certainty about that. That can never go.
So if you're willing to accept consciousness, why are you not willing to accept other aspects of reality, such as a spiritual world, or souls, or God, or gods, or cosmic consciousness, with the vast majority of humanity believing in that stuff? And I've been known to at least hope that some of that exists.
Well, you have to tell me exactly what you mean by that. Do you mean something that is defined as not physical, for example?
Yes, I think that's right.
But what I'm saying is the physical is so amazing that I haven't yet seen a reason for thinking that these things too couldn't be physical. The physical already includes minds and experiences.
Okay, so why is your definition of physical not just a word that means everything that's real?
It does. Actually, that is right. And but I continue to use it because I am talking about the world, the things out there. It's part of an argument that's saying, if you push it, you're going to have to begin to mean these other things by physical too.
So there's no difference between your physical and my term, all that is.
That's right.
And so if I would have a belief in God in my all that is, if you were to believe in that or think that's real, then you would incorporate that into your definition of the physical world.
I would follow Spinoza, who does exactly that.
Okay, so that is a fundamental position. It's different than others who say there's a fundamental distinction and disjunction between the physical world and a non-physical world, and that these are very different kinds of things. They may interact, how they do, who knows, but there's a big difference.
Yeah, this is the standard position of dualism. There are two fundamentally different kinds of thing. It has massive problems, the position of dualism, and I'm just saying the physical is already so amazing. Give me a good reason why I have to say there are two fundamentally different kinds of things, and I haven't seen one yet.